Kate's hands trembled as she slipped the gold bracelet into her pocket. Her mother's jewelry box, once a beacon of memories and sentiment, now lay half empty on the dresser. The soft hum of the house felt accusatory, as if the walls themselves knew what she had done. She'd convinced herself it was temporary, a means to help Tyler get clean, to pay off his debts, to keep him safe. But deep down, she knew the truth. She was enabling him, and each piece of jewelry pawned was another step deeper into a darkness she couldn't escape. When her mother found out, the heartbreak in her eyes was unbearable. "These aren't just trinkets, Kate," she'd said. "They're our history. They're your grandmother's life, my life. Do you even understand what you've done?" But Kate was too far gone, her mind clouded by Tyler's promises and her own guilt to respond. Years later, after her mother's sudden passing, Kate stood alone in the attic, the musty scent of forgotten belongings surrounding her. The jewelry box, now empty, was a stark reminder of her betrayal. Regret gnawed at her, but it wasn't enough to bring her mother back. And it wasn't enough to erase what she'd done. "I'll get them back," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I'll make it right." Her journey began in the pawnshops she'd once frequented, places filled with broken dreams and desperate bargains. Most of the jewelry had long since been sold, scattered across the city to strangers who had no idea of its significance. But Kate refused to give up. She visited one shop after another, tracing the faintest of leads. Some pieces turned up, their prices inflated beyond what she could afford. Others were gone, their trails cold. One day, a pawnbroker gave her an address, a private collector who had acquired a few of the items. The lead took her to a crumbling mansion on the edge of the city, where she faced a man with cold eyes and a sharper smile. "You think you can just buy them back?" he sneered. "These aren't yours anymore," Kate pleaded, offering every cent she had saved. When words failed, she resorted to desperation. "They belong to my mother," she said, her voice cracking. "Please." The man hesitated, then handed her a single ring. "This is all you'll get," he said. "The rest? Well, life doesn't always give second chances." The ring, a delicate band with a tiny sapphire, was her mother's favorite. Holding it brought a flood of memories, her mother's laughter, the warmth of her hand. It wasn't enough to undo the past, but it was a start. Her search dragged her into places she never thought she'd go, underground markets, shady deals in dimly lit rooms. Each encounter chipped away at her hope and her naivety. She met people like her, desperate, searching for something lost. She saw the cost of choices, the weight of regret. One night, after a failed lead left her stranded in a desolate train station, Kate sat on a bench, staring at the ring. She realized she couldn't bring it all back. Some things, once lost, were gone forever. But in that moment, she understood something her mother had always tried to teach her: redemption wasn't about erasing the past. It was about learning from it, about finding a way forward. Kate returned home, the ring safely in her pocket. She placed it back in the empty jewelry box, a single spark of light in the hollow space. Then, she picked up a pen and began to write letters to her mother, to herself, to the parts of her she'd lost along the way. She never found all the jewelry, and Tyler faded from her life, a shadow of a chapter she no longer wanted to revisit. But Kate found something more important: herself. And though the past couldn't be undone, she learned to carry it with grace, turning her regrets into a foundation for a better future.